And we're back to discuss Ghost in the Shell, and we were generally favorable about it in our review. To get the controversy thing out of the way first, it shouldn't have been a problem that they put Scarlett Johansson in the part. I'm not here to review politics or review like what people's reaction to this movie was, but she's perfect in the role. It explains why she's not a Japanese woman, and in fact, because we're in spoilers now, she actually is a Japanese woman in a robot body that looks like a white woman. That's how this works. That's how that all happened. The original Kusanagi in the original anime doesn't look like a Japanese woman. She looks like an anime woman, and those anime people look just sort of generic, and real people don't have eyes that big, and that's just one of these things that is true. So I had heard about all the controversy and everything, and it's one of the reasons we didn't see it last week. We went and saw something else, and so I had heard some reviews, and I'd seen some people talking about it, and basically led me to the conclusion that I needed to give the movie a chance. I'm really glad that I did give it a chance. I think that there are people that will find it very slow. I think that it is I think that it's probably 20% faster as far as introducing you to things than the anime was. The anime, it's weird in that specific way that anime can be weird and can be hard to understand and wrap your head around, like some of the things and concepts that they're putting you through, and some of the things they're just doing because they visually want to do that. So I can see people getting to Matthew's point in the review about the storyline not being much, or just kind of being an introduction to the character. There's a mystery that gets solved, and it is the most basic. It's exactly what you think it is from the beginning, but the way they dress it up with the action and the acting and the world and all the stuff that goes wrong around it, I disagree that you should fold laundry to this movie. I think you should watch this movie in 3D IMAX or not, and that's how I feel about it. So
I'm really happy with the runtime. I know that you wanted more story and wanted more, but I feel like if it was...
but he did.
Well, I know he wanted more, but I feel like with the runtime, it kind of goes back to movies that we used to get that were an hour and a half, and you got everything you needed to know, wrapped it up, and you were fulfilled and happy. But I think that with movies nowadays are 2.5 hours, almost 3-hour movies. I think that's what we're so used to now, that I think maybe the story would have just drawn on too long, and I personally wouldn't have been interested anymore.
I didn't need more, and I also didn't need it to be Ghost in the Shell Part 1. I didn't need that either. I didn't need it to be obviously setting up for a sequel and not delivering a climax of its own.
Yeah.
This is a self-contained movie.
Yeah.
It's true.
Now they can go along, they can make another one. There's the characters are still there. They could go and make another one. And they, with the anime, they made another one. They made a sequel.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good. This one wouldn't be as good as either. If they made a sequel to this movie, it would not be as good as this is. So there's just diminishing returns on all of that kind of stuff. But for what it is.
Yeah, it was enjoyable, and I don't know, I didn't hate any of the characters. For once, I'm not a big Scarlett Johansson fan, so a lot of times I'm really distracted by her acting or her voice, and I can't fall into her character. And this one, I was got it.
I didn't know until the credits rolled at the beginning that Juliette Binoche was in it. That was cool to see her in it. She played the doctor, the scientist that built her.
Yeah.
All I could think of when I saw her was hey, that's that girl from Waterworld.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen her in so long. Gosh, the movie was really beautiful, but one drawback for me, and I guess it's just because I'm drawn to these things, is it had iRobot level of product placement. Like when she was driving the motorcycle, the camera was panned just enough way where you could see Honda, and like almost every scene there was some sort of product placement.
Yeah, you haven't seen enough recent movies to complain about that.
I didn't catch most of it, so I didn't think about it much. I mean, and no one's talking about the products in the film, so there's that.
True.
Yeah.
Which has been a problem in some things.
There's a recent movie that's like basically Krispy Kreme commercial of the movie. Power Rangers.
What?
That's
For real?
Yes, for real.
It was a great movie.
That is over. Yeah, get out of here with the product placement complaint. If you're gonna give ups to Krispy Kreme the motion picture.
I'm not saying that this was bad. I was just like every single scene. Konami,
No, wrong.
Honda,
Not
something
true.
else.
I
Hyperbole. BS.
see. I feel there's a director's cut out there that has some backstory, chewing some scenery of some of the other actors that probably get me in there just a little bit more.
Who did you want to know more about?
Batu, the sergeant.
Sarge.
Yeah, that badass character, and whoever's running their division was also pretty interesting. But I'm not sure they'd ever give you more backstory on him because it's kind of his deal. So yeah, I guess I am used to the slightly longer film because this did just kind of drive straight through. Here's the plot, and just a few minutes of. I mean, everything's well acted, and what they were going to use in this film, they chewed through pretty nicely.
It's important that it's important that it's her story. I think if you start giving other characters development more than you did, like I said at the beginning, like I can't name any of the other characters.
Right.
Like I know Juliette Binoche was in the movie, but I don't know what her character's name was.
Intentional.
And it's not only intentional, but it's integral to the mystery of the movie. You can't know too many people's backstories.
Sure.
Because then you know who's safe and who's not safe. Like, you have to think up until the end that Batu might betray her.
Okay.
Because we don't know what his backstory is. We don't know what's there.
I guess my qualm is that I've just had so many anime experiences which the lead role is amnesia person. And it's just kind of like, I know this is earlier on that, but it's just kind of like, that makes them a little flat, in my opinion. And you have to then just try to act the emotion as much as you can, but you're a robot. So,
I mean, we're talking
know.
about a 20-plus-year-old anime.
That's true. That's true. And I know I watched the anime before and didn't care for it much, I guess. So, I don't know. I'm still middling on the entire thing.
That's fine. I mean, it's better than not giving it a chance. It's better than not seeing it. It's better than the majority of people out there whose opinion of this movie will be Scarlett Johansson shouldn't have been cast in that part.
But
it's like, well, you wouldn't know.
And
it makes sense though. I get it.
This needed star power. This needed a name attached to it, right? As far as I could tell.
That part of it's important. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to go into like all of the reasons why this was a particularly silly movie to throw that objection about. But there's nothing about this character that says it needs to be a specific ethnicity, and it's a Hollywood studio spending hundreds of millions of dollars. They need someone like Scarlett Johansson to sell tickets to the movie. And by the way, Scarlett Johansson was in Under the Skin a couple years ago, which is a perfect analog to this character. It's a perfect, yes, we know she can do this because she was in that movie, and that character and this character are on kind of the same page. Without going into spoilers about Under the Skin, but she's very strange Under the Skin.
She fit this character very, very well.
Like if they made this movie 20 years ago instead of now, they would have cast like Angelina Jolie in that role, and it would have been like she would have done okay, but it would have just been okay.
It would have been a sequel
It would
of
have
Tomb
been Tomb
Raider.
Raider Cradle of Life.
Yeah.
It would have been a Tomb Raider anime.
And there probably would have been like some love story arc in there too that would have been awful.
Well, and that's where the thing with Batu comes in as well, is that if they had made that character more developed, they would almost have to have put a romantic subplot in. And you don't want that either.
I don't. You're right.
And that's what happens when you develop more than your protagonist. So yes, an Akiva Goldsman script this was not. So that makes me happy. But anyway, that is Ghost in the Shell. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thank you for watching.